Hello, everybody. Chris and Deb back at you. Sorry it's been a little while. We've been home in Cincinnati. And say hi, Deb.
Hello.
Mhm.
And we should probably let them know it's Monday, October 13th. So it's been a couple months since our last podcast,
Yeah.
and a lot's happened.
Columbus Day. We thought it'd be interesting. We jumped in the car today and drove down to the place where the camp that we had on the river, in the Ohio River, where kind of all of this started, where we had our first boat and we used to bring the kids down here every weekend. And my goodness, we had the place for what, about 11 years?
11 years.
Yeah. So I thought, just real quick, I can just sort of give you guys a real quick little tour of the area. Um, this is the Ohio River, obviously,
That's Kentucky.
and these were our neighbors. And if I get down here far enough, you should be able to see our old place. It's interesting that the place here is for sale. But right on the other side of the A-frame here was our little getaway. It's amazing how little it's changed. It's not changed really at all. That dock right there that's kind of beat up and broken, that's where I broke my ankle many years ago. But this was kind of where Deb and I got the idea to do the loop. We had a couple of boats down here. We had a ski boat and we had a 32-foot boat that we would go up and down the river on. But this was kind of where it all got started. Back in
30 years ago. So the kids would have been 2 and 5, and we had a blast. I mean, they learned to fish here, and we pulled them behind the sea-doo, and they learned how to water ski and tube and
kneeboard,
and we had fire pits every night and
had the jet ski.
Lots of good memories.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. We haven't been back down here in a long time, and it's pretty much exactly the same as it was when we left it.
Pretty much.
Wild. Yeah. Okay, so back to where we picked up or where we left off. It was
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine.
Yeah, we were in St. Augustine. And the last couple days we were there, we had very rainy thunderstorms. We rented a car because the weather was so poor, and we actually discovered a couple really cool places. Do you want to talk about, there was a place called the Classic Car Museum that was a wonderful adventure.
It was. We got a bunch of good pictures and whatnot that we'll show, but if anybody's into classic cars, all the muscle cars from the 70s and even earlier, the cars that were made famous in a lot of the movies in the 50s, the Bel Air, some of the really cool Cadillacs, the pink Cadillacs with the big fins, and even all the way back into horse and buggy days, they had stagecoaches and wagons and stuff there. So yeah, if you're down in that area, great day, great way to spend some time if you're interested in that kind of history.
And then we found a really cool bar restaurant called the Ice Plant that we had actually found on our hop-on, hop-off tour. So we went back to visit it and had some adult beverages and enjoyed that as well. And then it came Monday and it was move day.
Yeah, but did we go upstairs in that really fancy restaurant? Was that at the Ice House? Yeah. There's a really French 5-star, where you pay a bunch of money and don't get a lot of food kind of place. It's right upstairs there, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was a fun area. And so Monday, travel day, we went from there to Palm Cove Marina, which was Jacksonville Beach. I mean, this is kind of hard going back and remembering the places that we were toward the end there, but we went under the Bridge of Lions and went out and had a great venture that day. I mean, remember all the really nice houses that were
Yeah.
on the right side there the ocean side, before we actually pulled into the marina? But we had a great time in that marina, and that's where we were looking for golf shoes for me,
Mm.
and we found Othello in a small golf shop called, his name was Jim Loudenslager.
Jim Ladenswager, yeah, he's been building clubs for 50 years for all the pros. So we happened by happenstance, we ran into him and have stayed in contact with him, and he's made us a couple of sets of custom clubs, and we're hoping that helps our game a little bit.
Yeah. And there's also a really cool restaurant there called Market 32 Restaurant. And we had an exciting adventure meeting your musician friend
Crazy night.
at the bar.
Yeah, we a lot of times Deb and I, when we go to these places, because there may or may not be lines, we like to just sit at the bar. You talk to the bartender, talk to the locals, and we're sitting at the end of this bar. There's another couple on the other caddy corner to us, and you could just tell the guy was a rock and roller. You know, he had all the rings on his fingers and the long hair, and so you know, bottle of wine later, we all started to get to talking, and that's why I just asked him straight up. I said, "So, what band did you play in? Anybody I've ever heard of?" And he said, "Yeah, well, yeah. Have you ever heard of Lynyrd Skynyrd?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard of Lynyrd Skynyrd." And he goes, "Well, I played piano and sung for them."
He's the keyboardist.
He was a keyboardist. So small world. He'd also done some side gigs with the Allman Brothers and quite a few other famous bands. But
And the Rolling Stones.
yeah.
He actually, they were open for the Rolling Stones, which was pretty awesome.
So we sat there, we closed that place down, talking and having drinks, and that was a riot. That was, you just never know who you're gonna run into when you're on the loop.
It's crazy. Okay, and then the next day we got up and we left in the morning and headed to actually Jacksonville. So made it to the St. Johns River, which was an amazing change getting off of the intercoastal. On the intracoastal, you have to stay between the channel markers, the red and green, and it's really shallow. So we actually got onto the St. Johns River, and it was deep, right?
Oh yeah.
65, 80-foot deep, and all of a sudden all of our worries about it being shallow were gone. And we passed great big huge boats. Maybe we should put some of those on the site too. But yeah, so we made it to a place where we're at currently called Huckins Boatyard.
Huckins. But we passed Mar-a-Lago too, didn't we? On that trip?
No, that was
before.
a lot of trips before.
Okay.
Yeah, so we pulled in into Huckins Boatyard, and then the next day we had tea times at Sawgrass. So we actually got to golf, and it was a bucket list. We had tea times and golfed at TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to hit, some golf courses along the way as we do the loop, and certainly it's something that I've wanted to do my whole life was to play TPC and the famous number 17 green, and it was quite an experience. Unfortunately, neither Deb or I got on the green. Deb hit the wall in front, and I was left. But it was just,
we tried.
yeah, it was amazing being there, and it was so different being there in person. None of the stadium seats and restaurants or whatever they put up for the tournament were there, so it looked totally different, but still iconic. And it was fun too because it was the day before the juniors, the 17-year or younger tournament was going to happen. So people like Charlie Woods and other juniors hoping to get their card and go pro were there practicing that day. And one of the kids got in with us, and him and his dad were there. They were from Paris, France.
His name was Tom D. Harry Pine. Did I say it right?
Uh-huh.
And his dad's name was Sirius.
Yeah. And so we hung out with them, and we had a caddy with us, and really kind of sighting out the course for him because he was going to play in the tournament the next 3 days. And actually, by the end of the first day, he was in fifth place. Not sure where he came in the end, but it was just amazing, like it always is, watching these young up and comers hit the golf ball and just how good they are and how far they hit it and how young they are. And so that was a pretty awesome day. The clubhouse, we stayed and had dinner there, right? We ate dinner
Expensive dinner.
in the clubhouse, but all the memorabilia, the pictures of the famous golfers that have been through there, the trophies.
But the course was beautiful. We saw two eagles and a poisonous snake
Yeah, yeah,
right behind the golf cart.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
it was really fun.
yeah.
And so now we are on the hard in Huckins Boatyard getting our swim platform repaired.
Yeah, we had some stress fractures that came up on the swim platform from the crane that lifts the dinghy on and off, and I didn't want that to get bad and start taking on water or whatever. They were just some hairline cracks, but I didn't want to take any chances, so we took it in there and put it on the hard, and they're doing some work for us there, and then we're headed down there next week, kind of check on their progress,
Hopefully, put her back in the water.
hopefully get her back in the water, and she's going to be there for a week. But we just love being in Cincinnati this time of year. October is our favorite time of year. We've been spending a bunch of time on the golf course. We're playing golf just about every day, hanging out with our grandson Leon, taking walks, taking hikes. You know, the fall foliage is starting to change. Football games, just a special time in Ohio. So we're gonna spend as much time as we can here, and then get through the holidays with the family, and then we're really gonna hit the loop hard starting January. I know some of you who are watching have been asking about our itinerary, and I this morning sent out an email or a text, and I'm glad to share it with anybody of kind of like our plans month by month as we go around the loop. We'd love to entertain or catch up with any of you if we're close to wherever you might be along the coast and your vacation homes or your home altogether. I know we know quite a few people up in the Michigan areas when we get up to the lakes there, Lake Michigan, Lake Ontario, up to Charlevoix. Really hoping to catch up and see some good friends along the way.
Sounds good.
Anything
I
else?
can't wait. Well, we're excited to explore the St. Johns River between
That's
now
true.
and January. Right now, we're kind of waiting for hurricane season to get through. So we've got some exploring to do where we're at currently. So that'll be fun. And then we'll just start making our way up the East Coast again.
Yeah, St. John River is a long river. It's kind of historic in the fact it's the only river, I believe, in North America that runs south to north.
Opposite.
Most rivers go north to south, east to west, kind of thing. But this is somehow it originates um, somewhere around Jacksonville, I think, and runs north, parallel with the coast up in Jacksonville.
It goes, yeah, it starts way south. The
Yeah,
other cool thing are there are tons of alligators, and we haven't seen an alligator yet, so that'll be a fun experience too.
lots of places to explore, lots of areas for the dinghy to hop on, hop off, a lot of places to paddle board and just explore. So some of the folks who have done it already, it's kind of like a side loop, and there's several side loops that we can do,
Side trip, yeah,
side
side
trips.
trip.
Yeah. I mean, Chesapeake Bay, some of the big bays are loops in themselves that a lot of people do every year. They just kind of stay in a more localized area. Um, but CDN is in tip top shape. All the mechanics, knock on wood, are working. Everything has been maintained and checked out. So we're feeling pretty confident about skedaddling here and really kind of being on the boat and only staying in places for a couple days at a time or a week. Not planning on doing the month long stays like we did in Orange Beach,
I don't
and
know, the Keys were
the
pretty
Keys were
awesome. The
awesome.
3 months there was definitely worth it.
And not sure if we're going to button hook back and head down to the Bahamas for January, February this year. It just feels like backtracking, but you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
We're just winging it.
Yep. So that's a quick update from Ohio, from Ripley, Ohio. We'll be sure to attach some pictures and some videos, and look forward to hearing from anybody. That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay, guys. Thanks much.